It's only impossible if you see it that way.
Much of what we call impossible are nothing but that, illusions, false beliefs we've inherited, and unfortunately those beliefs prevent us from achieving what we really want.
Hey, I'm Anders and I'm here to help you overcome your self-limiting mental illusions so that you can step out and create the goals you so rightfully desire and deserve.
Hi there, this is Anders, and today I would love to share with you 4 things that are key when it comes to manifestation. We're going to look at how and where to start manifestation, how manifestation changed my life, why manifestation doesn't work for some people or why it fails for some people, and what methods work the best. So stay tuned, this newsletter is going to be packed with great information coming your way, so make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this with friends and family that you believe could benefit from it as well. So first things first, how and where to start manifestation? It's a good question, and it's a question that I get asked a lot. We just wrapped up a 4-hour virtual event that we held here out of our studio in Miami, and then this idea hit me about manifestation because it kept coming up and up on that event. So I decided to elaborate on it and to make this the subject of this month's newsletter. The key to understand is that nothing is created or destroyed. You're only bringing forth into physical experience what has already and always been here. So there's a common misconception that you either manifest or don't manifest, but that's not true. You are a manifesting machine. You and I cannot turn off that flow. You see, the creative flow, the creative power, or the affirmative power, as Thomas Troward called it, is flowing into your mind, and as it flows in, it gives you the ability to think. Now, it's your thoughts coupled with emotion that becomes a physical experience. And you may sit and say, well, I didn't choose to manifest these negative experiences that I've had. And I don't think anybody does. None of us sit down and consciously decide to impede our own progress. But I do think we allow ourselves to slip into angry, worrisome, doubtful, fearful vibrations that can only bring forth with them what it's a match with, what they are a match with, and will bring with them reasons to feel that certain way. So you're never really starting manifestation. You're starting to understand the manifestation process, and the more you understand it, the more you can guide what is being manifested in your life. I really hope that makes sense. So there's no switch you can turn on and off. You're continuously manifesting, but there's a 4-step process to it. It's thoughts on a conscious level that you can control and guide with your mental faculties. 2, depending on how you guide those thoughts, you will experience an emotional state. That emotional state will dictate the energy frequency that you are in any given time. So it will also dictate how you feel, of course. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration, and that feeling will cause you to act and then produce the result in the physical world, which is the 4th step. But it will also dictate what you attract. So it will cause you to act a certain way, it will cause you to attract certain things. So we first have to understand there is no start and stop switch. You are continuously manifesting, but if you're not liking what you're manifesting, you have to change your focus. Now, I tried that for 20 years. You may have tried it for a long time, and you may have seen a lot of videos, The Secret, great movies, here tips here tips there, and nothing is really changing much. You see, that was me. I got more and more frustrated. I looked at other people and they created great results, but I didn't. I knew a lot of concepts, but I somehow couldn't translate them into results in my life. And it wasn't until I got to know Bob Proctor and he and I started working together. I have had 6 great mentors in my life so far in various areas of personal growth and speaking and magic and sales, and they all brought with them invaluable wisdom that changed my life on all levels. But Bob especially helped me understand that everything is already here. And so manifestation changed my life in that sense, because I started understanding that I'm not creating anything. My assumptions and my affirmations today just dictate what part of creation I take part in. Now, this is worth repeating, and go back and listen to this a few times, because you're not creating anything. Creation is finished. We're bringing forth on the physical plane what we're in harmony with. And what we're in harmony with is definitely dictated by our assumptions about how we live. That's how an illusionist, that's why they have a job. They deceive those assumptions a lot. So it changed my life. I went from broke, sick, unhappy to happy, healthy, and wealthy on all levels, because I started understanding I'm actually not creating it. It's already here. My job is to become aware of what I already got. So that matches perfectly with the idea that your subjective mind is 100% deductive in the moment. I used to think I needed to get to a certain point down the road. When this and this happens, that is going to be my goal. But our subjective mind is deductive. It only understands pictures, sounds, and emotions in the moment. So you're never getting it. You are always getting it a little bit better, but in the moment. So it's not coming sometime down the road. It's already here. And the more you accept the idea, not just intellectually, but emotionally, subjectively, that creation is finished, that your assumptions just dictate what you will take part in, it makes the whole process easier. Because it's not about working harder. It's not about spending more hours. That's not the key. And that's part of the programming. So we have to first unlearn a little bit about how manifestation works and what it is. But it changed my life on all levels. I started doing it unconsciously back in the days in the entertainment business. I started reading about personal growth, started understanding my mind. I went from broke, really, nothing. I was performing magic for tips, to getting a full-time job here in Miami performing magic, to performing big production shows on cruise ships all over the world in the span of 1 year. It was such a shocking result, but I realized my state had changed. My state in the moment had changed, and that is what I'll attempt to help you change today. So it's not about thinking that you have to get somewhere. It's about changing who you are now on an emotional level, so that everything that that emotional state corresponds with will be brought into your life. Now, of course, it's a co-creation between spirit and form. We are praying. Prayer is that movement, that co-creation that takes place between spirit and form, with and through us. It's a co-creation. It's a dance with life, because opportunities will show up, and then you, of course, the personal factor being you, has to be engaged and has to take part in all these things. It won't just happen with you sitting and using the right affirmations, but that new state will cause you to take different actions and will bring with it new opportunities. So why does manifestation not work for a lot of people? Why is it that it fails? It doesn't fail. It can never fail. Manifestation is perfect. But you can only manifest what you're in harmony with. And so why it doesn't work for most people is that they think of their goal. They attain a vision, and they think of it as something outside of themselves. They see it as a mental picture, and that is all well and great. But you have to get the picture to be in first person. In other words, you have to see yourself standing in the middle of it. You have to see yourself do whatever you would do when the goal is achieved. Feel whatever you would feel now that the goal is here. And of course, you take appropriate action from that state. That causes you to fuse with the goal. You literally fuse with the goal. You go from thinking of to living from. When you think of the goal, you see it as something outside of you. When you think and live from the goal, you absorb the personality as the person who would be living it. So regardless of what's going on in your life, you can train your mind to live there. You can train your higher mental faculties, your imagination, intuition, will, reason, memory, perception. You can train your higher side of your personality to use pure energy that we're also a part of to co-create with you. But what most people do, and why manifestation doesn't work for a lot of folks, is that they use their intellect to guide them to the physical immediately. They may think of their goal for 5 minutes, and then they start living through their senses again, and they let whatever is going on around them affect them emotionally. And that is why, that's one of the reasons why, you don't manifest what you want. You think of what you want. You don't live from what you want. I really hope this makes sense. This is worth repeating a few times. Go back and watch this a few times until it really sinks in. And then the fourth step here is to really ask ourselves, well, what are the great methods and techniques? And one thing I want to caution you about before even thinking about this is your mind and my mind has a tendency to immediately go to what do I have to do? What is the strategy? Because we are doers by programming, by our nature. Do. So the first question we ask ourselves is, what do I have to do? What you have to do will cause you to be. So the things you're going to be doing will cause your beingness, your being state to change. It will cause your vibrational state to shift. That's the purpose of the doing things. The doing things are not essential. The doing things are tools. Yeah, essential, I guess they are in a way, but they're not. It's not end all be all do all. The most important thing is that whatever you do in the category of tools cause your emotional state to change. And so what does that mean? That means that you are at a certain frequency at a certain time, and that frequency will change for the most people based on what's going on around them. I'm guilty of this. You know you are. We're all guilty of letting the outside world control the inside. So our biggest job is to start controlling the inside world regardless of what's going on outside. And that's when I started seeing the biggest shifts in my life. I had an eviction notice on my door where my partner and I were living. It was not a great situation to be in. I was afraid. I was not afraid, but I was embarrassed to tell him, so I sort of hit that eviction notice. But it was there. It was very tempting to focus on it. And my health wasn't great, and nothing really worked. Job didn't work out. Nothing in my professional life functioned. I was buried in $50,000 of debt. In that situation, it was very easy to allow my emotional state to be controlled by those facts. But I had studied long enough to realize that facts and truth are two different things. Facts in your life are maybe similar to mine. They may be worse, they may be a little better, but facts might be not so great. But the truth is that you, in this millisecond, can choose your emotional state. And when you do that, your vibration changes and your vantage point through which you see the world starts to shift. You see, all opportunities are around us right this second. And when you start changing your focus with some of these tools that I'm going to suggest to you today, everything shifts. And these are some simple things, and I decided to prelude this a little bit with the technique not being the important thing. So these are simple things that will help you to induce a new state of being, a new mental, emotional, and physical state. And from that state, you will view a totally different world. Totally new results will be manifested into your life. But creation is finished, so your new vantage point, your new state of being, becomes a new vibrational vortex that just brings with it the only thing it can bring with it, like energy, like people, like energy, like ideas, like resources, whatever is needed. First thing, whatever happens in your life, tell yourself that it's good. That's great. We had this virtual event that we just wrapped up earlier. Plenty of challenges, tech challenges, up and down the line. I mean, it was just kept piling on and on and on. And I kept telling myself, this is great. What is it in there for me to learn? And I've trained my mind to look at situations and attempt to find the opportunity in it. Sometimes I succeed and sometimes I do not. But I do ask myself, what is the good here? This is good, now let me look for it. Let me look for it until I find it. That's the first thing. Regardless of what happens outside, tell yourself that's great. Start using your perception. It's not a situation problem, actually. It's a perception problem. And a lack of utilizing your perception properly will cause you to adopt an emotional state that is not conducive for you. Does that make sense? Let me know this in the comment section if this makes sense to you. 1. Whenever things happen in your life, tell yourself this is good. This is great. Start looking for the good in it. Start challenging your perception. 2. There's a difference between reacting and responding. Whenever something happens, whenever you look at a result, something outside of you that isn't very great, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what is it in here that I'm supposed to learn? What is it here that I can expand from? 3, start practicing gratitude. And not just in a sense of understanding it, but start practicing it. We have a very, very good gratitude magic challenge that you can enroll in, both in Danish and English, depending on what your language preference is. And that comes with tools that will help you stay in the state. And 4th, study. Stay in the study. You can never go over this too much, and you couldn't study manifestation too much. What I would recommend is that you pick up some of our free meditations here on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. That is the 4th step. Those meditations will help you calm down the mind and take control back of your reality, of your results, and yes, what you manifest into your life. So I hope this serves you. Go back and watch it a few times. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it with friends and family that you believe would benefit from it as well. And it's not who you are that holds you back, it's all the illusions of who you think you're not. This is Anders Hansen. Bye for now. I really hope that you took a lot of valuable insight away from this video today. And to make sure you stay updated in terms of everything Real Magic World, including programs and live events, make sure that you enable your notifications and most importantly, subscribe to this channel so that you will be the first to know.